In 2009, Star Trek was changed forever, rewriting the timeline, giving us the Kelvin timeline. And then in 2017, they decided to change even more history of Star Trek by giving us Star Trek Discovery, events taking place back in the normal timeline. And now that they've messed around with Star Trek history, they've decided they may want to do a movie about altering the history of First Contact. Hold on tight, people. The new Star Trek movie is a prequel. But will it rewrite the franchise timeline?
You son of a bitch!
Hey, what's going on out there, everyone? It's W.F.S. here, and today we're going to talk about another Star Trek movie. They talked about on Star Trek 4, and Chris Pines was out there saying, hey, once again, they haven't told us anything. But now we got this article here from Film. It was announced today that the Hollywood Reporter, that Simon Kinberg, is taking over the development of the new Star Trek feature film, currently working its way through pre-production at Paramount. The new film will be the fourth to be connected to the Kelvin timeline of Star Trek. Oh boy, the last 3 Kelvin timeline movies. Well, let's be fair about it. The first one was a unique approach. It was an interesting way of dealing with Star Trek, but then once it got going after that, ripping off the Wrath of Khan, ripping off the Search for Spock, it was just bad. It has been reported that the new Star Trek movie will, to quote the Hollywood Reporter, be set decades before the events of the 2009 movie that was directed by J.J. Abrams, like around modern times. They added that it is said to involve the creation of Starfleet, humankind's first contact with alien life. God help us. Are they going to alter that timeline as well? To offer a brief timeline of events in the Star Trek universe, humanity was facing down some harrowing times in the 20th century as the world was breaking out into a series of devastating wars. First, there was eugenics wars, in which tyrants, genetically selected supermen, became global dictators. Audiences know about the eugenics wars through Ricardo Montalban, one of said dictators, one of the best villains to come out of Star Trek. Then there was the second Civil War that took place in the timeline episode Star Trek Deep Space Nine, which exacerbated the poverty and misery of Earth, followed by World War III, which lasted from 2026 to 2053. World War III left humanity scattered and hopeless. Okay, here's some problems that I've had, and I covered this a long time ago when Star Trek Strange New Worlds decided to play around with the timeline. Obviously, the author of this article has not paid any attention to Star Trek Strange New Worlds. In Season 2, Khan's blood relative, Lam Noonien Singh, went back in time with an altered version or an altered timeline of Captain Kirk to fix the timeline because Romulans were back there messing with the history. In fact, when they went back, she ran into Khan when he was about 10 or 11 years old, and that was supposed to be in 2022. So if all the events of this article, eugenics wars, then there was the Second Civil War, and then the Food Wars, and then World War III takes place in 2026. How could Khan be a child in 2022 if World War III takes place in 2026? Now, they're going by the old timeline, the old one, before Strange New Worlds came along, before Discovery came along. Pretty much, they're going to the right timeline, but unfortunately, we have to go by the modern timeline with Strange New Worlds. Otherwise, if they go with the 2026, 2053 timeline of World War III, then the whole thing is completely screwed up. The entire history of Star Trek, the canon, is blown away. The statement that the new Star Trek movie will take place likely around modern times would need to place it prior to the above conflicts. It's worth noting that the second season of Star Trek Picard was also a time travel story that took Picard, Patrick Stewart, and his friends back in time to 2024, prior to the eugenics wars. So it seems that part of Trek lore might have been covered already. You see, the article is messed up. In one moment, World War III is 2026 to 2053, and then go back down to what I just said before. The story took Picard and his friends back in time to 2024, prior to the eugenics wars. So right off the bat, this article is so all over the place. It just can't seem to pull itself together. But the timeline couldn't incorporate First Contact. It wouldn't be until 2063 that Zefram Cochrane would invent faster-than-light travel. The maiden voyage of his ship, the Phoenix, would attract the Vulcan vessel, consequently passing by Earth. The Vulcans would land and initiate first contact. If Kingbird aims to time shift First Contact and the formation of Starfleet to modern era, it would become a fascinating speculation indeed. If Star Trek began without the Roddenberry moment of clarity, would utopia still be achieved? No. No, it wouldn't, because Roddenberry had a different vision to what the people of today have in relation to Star Trek. The evidence is clear when you look at Discovery, when you look at how they just rearranged the first two seasons of Picard. It's clear that they are trying to make some repairs to this franchise, but the damage has been done. I really would love to know what all of you think about this. Another prequel. This one interfering with First Contact, not to mention the article itself. It seems to be all over the place, unless, of course, I am not reading this thing correctly. Well, again, I would love to hear your thoughts, your comments on this, so please drop your comments below and let me know. And until the next time, my friends, God bless.